Just
Welcome back to another episode of the Major League Minute Podcast. I'm Doc, and I'm here with GMP, and today we're talking all things, well, not only today, but every day, we're talking all things MLV. And let's get to it.
And today we have our day one request, our desire. We wanted to talk with Jen Spicher since we started this thing. She was back in December. She was like our number one person on our list. This is who we need to talk to.
You're not lying. You're not just saying that.
I am
Because
not.
I'm sitting here.
I'm
Because
not
I'm sitting here in
lying.
the flesh.
I could show you my notepad back home. But Jen, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you for
There
having
is
me.
so much going on right now. So we feel so completely honored that you're, penciling us in your very busy schedule right now. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me very much.
Are you allowed to tell us who your favorite team is?
I am absolutely not allowed.
Dang it.
I am
thought maybe
Switzerland,
I'd
girl.
catch
You
her.
know
I'd
that.
catch her right off guard. But
You know.
okay.
Have you seen all the teams play live this year?
Yes, I've seen
Okay.
all the teams all 3 years, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So I make it a point to get to almost every venue. This year I didn't get out to San Diego. That was partially due to my personal travel with my kids in their schools and one graduated, so I had to be busy with that. But yeah, I do see all the teams.
How old are your kids?
Our children are 23 and 22.
23, and one of them just graduated.
Graduated from pre-vet in Findlay, and she's going to vet school at Michigan State.
Volleyball player at
Go
all?
green. White. I can't say that because I'm born and raised in Ann Arbor. I'm a blue and gold kind of
snap.
girl.
Shoot.
I had to go into the rallies and buy her some green and white stuff, and I was getting hives. It was not good. It's not good.
You bought all the clearance items,
I
didn't
did.
you?
Reduced for quick sale.
Did she play volleyball at all?
She did.
Okay.
Yep. And I coached her.
Did your son play volleyball at all?
No, he was a
No.
hockey player.
No. What about your husband?
He played hockey.
Okay, nice.
And then what about you?
Yeah. I played volleyball.
Where at?
At Wayne State University in
Oh, that's
Detroit.
In
right.
Detroit, not Nebraska.
That's right.
okay.
Yeah, I was a middle blocker. Oh, I was a setter. I was an outside. I was an opposite. I played in every position in college. There
More
you go.
importantly, do you still play? Because we still play.
No. Once
okay.
I was 6 months pregnant with my son, I hit the floor and I said, "That's enough of that."
Couldn't get back.
Hey,
Yeah, exactly.
we'll get into that later, but I feel you. I was on the same page. What was I just going to say? A middle blocker, in our opinion, we've talked about this a lot, is the hardest position in volleyball. Correct or incorrect?
Oh, that's 100% correct.
That's
Facts.
what I'm saying.
Well, you're like a weatherman. 50% of the time, you're wrong.
That's it.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, it's definitely the most difficult position, not only physically, but mentally.
You
I
get
mean-
blamed for everything, especially
You
running
do.
into the setter, and that's a
Mhm.
really big problem.
Yeah. Well, kind of a blunt question, but out of curiosity, because, we haven't seen you do so much any podcasts, maybe back in the day, yes, but more like news. Why did you agree to this interview?
Well, you're one of my faves.
I knew it. I knew it.
When
I
you and
knew
I
it.
first spoke, which was a very, very long time ago, I think you were call number 6 or 7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
let her
true.
finish.
Ashley
Day
Evans.
oneers. Day oneers.
Ashley Evans was called first. That got me to Jenna Rosenthal. That got
Okay.
me to Morgan Hens.
Okay, that's 3.
And then it was like 7 degrees of separation. Then I got to you.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that
So
fact.
yeah, well, actually, Tori Stringer was in there and Monica Stone. There you go,
Oh wow,
That's awesome.
the OG crew.
the OG crew. That's right.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that.
So that's why I agree, because I wanted to help you
Yeah.
and Nick out, and I listen to you guys every now and then. And
Yeah. So we saw that Severance, is that how you say his name?
Severin, yeah,
Severn, he started an MLV podcast.
Yes.
Is that correct?
yeah. So we recently hired a new commissioner, as you know, Jamie Weston.
Yeah.
She's fantastic.
Yes.
I love
Yeah.
her to pieces. She brought on Severin. She got to know him through USA Volleyball.
Okay.
And a podcast is something we always wanted to do. We just didn't have the manpower.
Right.
And so Jamie was able to secure some investment and more investment. And we ended up starting a podcast with Severin, and he's doing a great job.
he is
he's
doing
killing
it. We got to look out for our jobs here. Severn is he's top notch.
Getting bumped. Back to the original vision of the league. When you originally seen this league, from its inception, how has it evolved and how is it living up to what you originally seen in terms of its development and where it is today?
Well, I'm super excited where we're going today, for
Yeah.
sure. I didn't think we would get to 12 teams that fast.
Oh, really?
But I will tell you, Nick, there isn't a week that goes by that I don't get at least 4 or 5 investment groups calling me interested in expansion teams. And so
No.
the desire is there, the interest is there, the support is there for women's professional volleyball. And I just watched the play. I mean, it's so amazing. These athletes, as you know, are, incredible. They're incredible humans.
Yep.
And it's just a really fun thing to do, and it's fun to watch. And the environment that each of our teams have created in their arenas is so family friendly. And it's so much fun that people of all ages love to come out and watch this game.
You said 4 expansions team next year?
Well, we'll have 12 total.
Yeah.
So, we're losing one in San Diego.
Yes. Is there anything you can say about that? Because we thought the San Diego post was very kind of cryptic. It was like ... at the end is like kind of the vibe we got. And then we noticed that MLV made their own statement. I'm sure there's some things you can and cannot say, but it just seemed like there wasn't the full story.
Left some room for interpretation.
And maybe that's not the truth, but that's just what we were led to believe. So is there anything you can say about it?
All I can say is that we are very grateful to Gary Jacobs. He stepped up and stepped in at a time that we really needed him. And he did a wonderful job.
Who is Gary Jacobs?
He's the currently owner of Mojo.
Yep.
He's decided to sunset his team and we'll be looking for new investors. And, we wish him and his team well. Obviously, again, thrilled with the Mojo and thrilled with the fact that they're on the floor tonight.
I was going to say, it
Those
should be
girls,
pretty easy if they win it all to get investors.
You know what? Don't count them out.
Oh,
we haven't since day one. We
haven't.
had Hayden Kubik on the podcast. She said our practices are off the chain. Just give us a little bit of time. We'll see you in Dallas.
Well, they have a fantastic coach in Alicia Childress. She's fantastic as a former player, as a former Olympian, and now as a head coach. She's doing amazing work.
It's really been beautiful what she's done this season.
Agreed.
We actually think that San Diego we would say they're the most dangerous team here because the team that has nothing to lose is the most dangerous. And in our opinion, which whether that's right or wrong, they have nothing to lose.
I would agree.
And so we have never counted them out. They, especially right now, have so much momentum and fire. It'll be fun. I'm glad the Omaha Supernovas aren't playing them
well,
tonight.
And the last time they played in San Diego, Dallas took them, I think, 16-14 in the fifth.
Yeah.
So I tried to stay up and watch that match.
I know.
It was like 1:45. I bailed at about 11:30. Had to watch it on replay.
Yeah. So speaking of replay, that's easy to do when it's on YouTube. But this specific season, we've seen a lot of different streaming platforms. What's kind of the story behind that? Why not stick with just YouTube?
Well, first of all, media rights is a financial investment that we get.
Okay.
Right. So it is a business. The league needs to make money.
Absolutely.
And part of that is if somebody wants to give you, 6 figures to house your championship on their station, then,
it's a no-brainer.
That's kind of what you do.
So is that kind of what happened with because we were talking about the All-Star match was on CBS Sports Network, but the championship is ION.
Well,
so I did
actually the All-Star game was on CBS, as in the
I'm sorry. Yes, that's what I meant.
So let's just say that the deal with ION was a good deal.
Okay.
That's a good way to put it.
I love that for the league.
With all the demand, you talked about the demand for new franchises, inquiring. How do you qualify the, who you're going to add and who's going to expand? And
so there's an expansion committee that the board runs the expansion committee. There's a chair, and it's their responsibility to vet all of the potential owners. They go through a very lengthy process of vetting backgrounds, all that fun stuff. And that's kind of how those decisions are made.
Okay.
Wait a minute. I just realized if we're losing a team, that means there's 5 teams next year?
7 plus 5 is 12, yes.
This is news to me.
Is this news?
Oh, well, it's not news that I'm going to share tonight.
I am so excited.
I mean, I was born at night, but not last night.
I know. I was doing the math myself, and I'm trying to...
No, it just hit me. I don't know why. That took
DC,
5 minutes to...
Northern California, minus San Diego.
Minneapolis.
Yeah, so that's...
Maybe. She does not have to confirm or deny, but Kansas City was in the discussions a few years ago.
Vegas making a comeback, perhaps? I don't know. And do we need to move on off of this topic? Let's move on.
She's sweating. She's sweating.
Although I will say, I would love to see a team in Kansas City. I
Me
would. That's a
too.
great volleyball market. This is,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and they have the best barbecue. Jack Stack.
Yes, we
Oh
love
my
Jack Stack.
goodness.
Okay, that makes me think of a next question of like, do we see more success in smaller cities that are more volleyball oriented, or are we trying to grow anywhere, any way we can?
I mean, I think we want to put the right teams in the right markets for sure.
Right.
And I think we're doing that. But when you look at the attendance numbers in Columbus, in Grand Rapids, in Indy,
Yeah.
those are, I mean, they're really, really good. Indy
Mhm.
sold out a couple of matches. I go to Grand Rapids all the time because it's a hop, skip, and a jump from Detroit, which is where I live. And they're never shy of 4,000 people in the seats.
Yeah.
They all also play, Indy and Grand Rapids play in a really nice size arena.
Yes.
So does Dallas,
Yep.
right? We realize that, you know, the Columbus Fury play in the
It's
Nationwide.
a big arena.
It's a big arena, but unfortunately, it's the only arena in town.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Like, people don't understand our schedule. A lot of times we're the third tenant in. So when you think of the Schottenstein Center in Ohio, right?
Mhm.
They have men's Ohio State basketball. Then they have women's basketball.
Wow.
Then they might have us as the third tenant in. By the time we get dates, after those two have picked through, it's really hard to get prime dates, which is, you know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And so people don't even realize, like, the first year that we did our schedule, we had a lot of matches on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, and that was 100% due to arena availability.
Mm.
This
very
is the things
next
we
year-
don't even think about. Our
the-
fans don't even think about this stuff.
That's exactly true. So we kind of, at the league level, I mean, you know, I take it on the chin all the time
Yeah.
from the social people or social media about
Tell
how,
'em
you know,
straight.
this is a horrible
Let
night
'em
to have a
know.
game.
Let 'em
Well,
know.
of course it
Let 'em
is, and we
know.
Let 'em
would
know.
not have wanted it on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. But guess what? That was the only day available this entire week. And so you kind of unfortunately have to take how you get it. So
How long, seriously, does it take to form this schedule?
oh, it's crazy.
Months.
Well, what people need to realize is if we're the third tenant in, that means that we have to wait until Ohio State basketball
Yep.
or you know, and Nationwide's a bad example. But you have other arenas like when we play UCF, we play in the Edition Financial
Right.
Arena. We're behind,
Right.
right?
Yep.
UCF, men's basketball, and
Yep.
women's basketball. By the time we get the dates, by the way, the NCAA doesn't put the men's and women's basketball schedule out until what, mid-September?
So then you're
Oh,
scrambling.
you're sweating by
So
then.
we don't-
You
But yet
gotta-
we get it all the time. I'm like, where's the schedule? Where's the schedule?
Right.
I can't do a schedule
Handcuffed.
until we're given opportunity dates from the arena.
Yeah,
So
that's good. I'm
But
glad you're
year,
letting
I do
people know.
want to give you a good fact. Year one, from year one to year two, we had 33% less matches in year two on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, which is really good for us because
is
obviously
good.
we want
Yeah.
attendance.
I remember in year one, we played in Grand Rapids on a Monday, probably the worst day of the week. I
Right.
don't know. And it was
I remember
the
that
crowd
game.
was raining.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I
like
shouldn't say disappointing. People
No, but
have
it
lives.
was.
It's
Sure.
it's a busy day of the week for families, for people who work
Right.
full time. So yeah, and I have noticed that thinking about our Supernova schedule, a lot of games have always been Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yep.
I don't
Right.
think we had any at home anyway. Wednesday,
right.
not Monday and Tuesdays aren't even a question
Right.
anymore this season. So that's awesome.
Well, and I get the question all the time. Why can't we play back to back? Okay, this isn't baseball,
Right.
right?
Wait,
Where
people want you to play back to back?
people that don't play
Understand.
volleyball on
Yeah,
the
I was
court
gonna
want us to play
say,
back to back.
That's an honest
But-
request by a lot of people.
Yeah. But think about it. It would save you, like if San Diego was going to Omaha and you played Friday and Saturday, then San Diego could go home and then have to come back to Omaha. Does it save us money? Sure, absolutely. But look at Nati. Nati Valentin Anderson doesn't leave the court.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's a 5-set match, she's out there for 2 hours, 45 minutes. I mean,
And-
let's say she jumps 100 times as a blocker. Well, guess what? The outsides are jumping 200 times because they're
Exactly.
hitting and blocking. It's not the same. It's not like hockey. The number one player in hockey might play 30 minutes tops in a 3-period match or game, right? 30 minutes. Granted, it's 2 minutes at a time, 2 minutes at a time.
I can't believe people are actually wanting that.
Well, it's
That's
more of
crazy.
it's been a discussion
Can-
at the business level. Like,
Okay.
how do we, can we? And
To-
I kind of like stand on my head and I'm like, no, we can't do that. The players would revolt.
That would be a really interesting schedule for sure.
Wasn't there one episode this week where Grand Rapids played one night, drove to Columbus,
Yes.
and then played the next night?
Yes,
I only seen that
and-
one.
And they did it. San Diego did it in year 1.
Okay.
The last games of the season were in Grand Rapids, and because of the scheduling,
Yes.
we had to have them play. I think it was noon on a Saturday
Yep.
and then 5:00 on Sunday. And I heard from the girls.
I'm sure you did.
And it wasn't pretty.
I can see both sides. Obviously, as a player, you're like, this is not ideal. But from the business side, it's like my hands are tied.
Right.
This is the best we could do.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
We really genuinely wish you the best.
Yeah. Well, we try
So-
not to do it. And so when you add that into the mix of trying to create a good schedule,
Mhm.
no back-to-back matches,
Right.
that's why
Right.
you see so many on Thursday, Saturday, or Friday, Sunday, or Thursday, Sunday. The optimum time would have the girls play Thursday or the teams play Thursday and Sunday, but we just don't have that arena availability to have
Right.
that luxury.
Mhm.
Can you speak briefly to the draft for next year? You talked about the number of teams that's going to be coming into the league. How is that going to play out in terms of draft order with the expansion teams?
Yeah.
It
How do
hasn't
you
been
determine-
it hasn't been released yet, but it's something we're talking about right now.
Okay.
I expect that we'll have the expansion teams draw first.
Okay.
I think that's probably only
And that's
fair.
a lottery. Who's going to be 1, 2, 3?
The bigger question looming is, what is the NCAA going to do with
Yes,
this new
that's
5-year eligibility
next
rule?
question.
Everybody is waiting.
And we are talking to the NCAA as we speak, trying to get clarification. I mean, we do have a little something going on this weekend that's preventing me from getting into the actual rules. You know, it's called a championship.
What could it be?
We are weighing all of those options.
How soon could that possibly go into effect if it did?
My understanding from what I've read,
Yes.
and again, I have not spoken to the NCAA. That's one of my team members is doing that. Is that it might affect this fall's incoming senior
Wow.
class.
Yeah.
How do you see that impacting the MLV
Would there-
directly or
Yeah,
indirectly?
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to direct us. It's going to impact us because now we not only do we have to find out if they want to play professional volleyball, but we now have to ask the question: are you going to leave your university?
Right.
And by the way, if they say yes, in October, they might say no in February, right? I mean, people can change their
Nightmare.
minds. So, we want to be very mindful of the NCAA rules. We have to be mindful of what we say to athletes that still have eligibility. And so there's a whole nother, I guess, investigative reporter type work that you've got to do when somebody may or may not be done with their eligibility.
That kind of leads me to a next point of like, college girls nowadays potentially make more money than professionally. Unfortunately, I feel like money's just flying in college nowadays, but that makes me think of like the pay structure. So every year for 3 seasons now, the pay structure has been different. Have you found out which one is best yet? Or do you want to kind of enlighten everybody of how that works?
Well, I think the way we did it in year 1 was the right way to do it for a brand new league.
Yeah,
Right?
sure.
I'll be honest, I think the way we did it in year 2 with the tiers kind of pigeonholed a lot of teams and they weren't able to maybe be traded as easily as they would have liked to have been or wanted to maybe do some more trades. The salary cap this year has worked great. It's been fine. It's not changing for next year.
So year 4 will be the same as year 3.
Correct.
Okay.
And, we're excited about the possibility of all of that. But who knows? Who knows? What I've learned to say in this job is never say never.
I love that. Justin Bieber. Let's get him.
Never
Let's
say
make him
never.
the audio for this clip.
Wait, is that a Justin Bieber song?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
On.
Neil Diamond's my favorite. Come on.
Oh.
First concert, 10 years old.
Can you give us a snapshot?
I know I just dated myself. It is.
a little bit? Little bit.
Snapshot. We're in year 3. What
Yeah.
does year 5 and year 10 look like for the MLV as you see it?
I think year 5 is probably the addition of at least 2 more, if not,
Okay.
a couple more. We obviously have a competitor that we're
Yes.
competing against.
Mhm.
Again, I'll never say never.
Okay.
With that, I don't know.
And we'll leave it right there.
And we'll leave
We'll
it right
leave it
there,
right there.
laying on the floor right down there. Not picking that up. But I'm just excited about where women's volleyball is going
Yeah.
in the United States, where
It's
women's
huge.
sports is going. Kudos to our competitors in League One for doing what they're doing. a different model, right? Ours is differently set up differently. It's financially, the module financially is differently. So, we're just applauding everybody that's getting involved.
And it's so much more fun to watch.
Thank you. Thank you. It is a lot of fun.
It is fan friendly.
You're talking about the MLV.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
By far.
Yeah.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
Family
You're
friendly is also important because we went to a love match and I just was like, I would feel uncomfortable if my daughter was here because the music that they played was a little out of line, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, so Gina, was the first pregnant athlete and
Ooh.
then was the PVF, now MLV. Is there, I've never asked you this question, but what were your thoughts when you heard the news? And was there did you have to learn as you go, or was it something you guys were expecting? Or, I was like patient one or whatever.
No, you were
number one that.
Well, when you and I spoke, you had shared with me, you confided to me that you were trying to have a child and that you had been trying to have children.
I had been.
For a long time.
But when that contract was signed,
I
and I got my husband here to prove
it. I remember when you called me.
I was off medication.
Right.
I had been off medication for almost an entire year because I got pregnant in November, got off in December. And what else was I going to say? Anyway, we were not trying.
But I was thrilled for you. Just like I was thrilled for Tori Stringer when she became pregnant. I'm thrilled for anybody that wants to go into motherhood. That's the best thing that I've ever done for myself, for my family. I adore my kids.
Surprised
imagine.
No one picked up the torch this year. No one got I was year one, Tori year two. But
that's good. Good point.
Maybe we'll find out after this weekend. We'll see. But yeah, was there were you guys ready for something like that?
Well, that first year we didn't have, if I recall, do we have benefits the first year?
I don't think so.
Yeah, we offered health benefits in year 2, and that's when we were ready for it.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but we knew because our players are of that age, right? So it's a natural progression.
Well, and it's a female sport.
Yeah, I mean, we're excited for people that want to become parents. I think it's wonderful,
even if it is by accident.
Right. And hopefully you're going to come back.
Dude, you got to talk to this guy back here. I've
Mason,
been trying. If there's 5 new teams next year, they're going to need me.
Are we going public with it right now? You're going to make a decision right now? Let them know that you're.
I think
GMP, come on back, girl. Let's go.
It pains me sometimes to watch volleyball. I would love it. But I'm trying to have 20 more kids.
Okay, well, then stay where you're at.
Been trying. All it takes, though, is for me to sign a contract, and then I'll probably get pregnant.
What's your favorite part about your job? What do you enjoy the most? Yeah, the personal relationships that you built.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you get that opportunity often to interact with the athletes?
Well, you remember myself and my team, there was 4 of us. We recruited 148 women to show up to the gyms the very first year.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of conversations because, as I've said in other past interviews, the thing that shocked me the most was how skeptical the volleyball community was about any league. And of course, it had been done twice before, tried to be done twice before. And I just don't think people believed, especially the athletes that are sitting in Europe, right?
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of conversations. I mean, literally for every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I had my team booking, 12, 4, and 9 or 9 a.m. meetings because a lot of these women were in Europe. They were 5, 6, 7 hours ahead of us. And multiple times I had to get on a call with the same athlete,
right?
Trying to convince them that,
right. For real.
And a lot of them believed in what we were saying.
Right.
And they took a leap of faith, and we made it happen. I'm very proud of our entire league staff. We're moving into year 4 here now, finishing year 3. I'm so stoked about where we're going. Really.
Well, back to player interactions, my time in Boston with you, with Franklin Schutz, that really was, I talk about that a lot. I absolutely loved, you chauffeured me around. It was just me and you at one point. And
she was selling you on the league.
I just loved it. I loved it.
Yeah.
So as a former player, we appreciate you. We respect you.
Absolutely.
And we're very thankful for all that you've done for us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so let's talk about the Omaha Supernovas last season.
Mm-hmm.
But can you shed any light on the whole situation with Omaha Supernovas announcing mid-season. I guess it was before.
It was a week after the season started.
It was before. Yeah, correct. Meaning it was before mid-season. I misspoke. I thought it was like March that they announced it, but it was actually January. Here they are. Hey, we're going to make our own league. What? Mouth drop. What does that mean? And now here we are. MLV, Omaha Supernovas are a part of it. What can you tell us about it?
All I can really say is, the ownership probably didn't see eye to eye, and they decided to move in a different direction.
Okay.
Throughout the course of the season and throughout the summer, everybody came back to the table and they were speaking again, and Omaha's back in the fold, and we love that they are, because obviously they're one of our most successful franchises from an attendance perspective, and certainly from a player perspective. Players love to play in front of the Supernovas fans.
Love the fans, hate the
ownership
snow.
group in Omaha has come back, and they're a part of MLV, and we loved the name Major League Volleyball. It was the right thing to do, and so that's what you saw happen in the summer of 2025.
Well, thanks for taking us back.
You're welcome. We talked about the injuries. We both thought there were
That's
more
true.
injuries this year. Was that actually the case? Because maybe they were just, I don't know, clear the air, will you please?
Sure.
As it relates to athlete injuries.
More middles for
Okay.
sure. Okay. However, when I looked at, and I was asked to look at this, I think it was the second week in April. It was right after when Lane Van Buskirk went down.
Yeah.
And I looked at it, and we actually, based on the timing, we were sitting at exactly the same people. I think it was 23 on injured reserve as the previous 2 years. And at that time, I think we had 5 season ending. And the year before, I think we had 6. And the year before that, I think we had 5.
Okay.
So we were exactly
Right
the
there.
same spot. I believe, I'm pretty sure we're going to end up exactly where we were last year.
Okay.
I don't love the fact that we've had so many ACLs. And if you think about the middles, I think 3 of them were in almost like collisions under the net. But that's how competitive these girls are.
Yes.
They're really going after it. Lane's unfortunately happened when she, slipped under the net in Dallas, and then
Right.
she ended up really injuring it on her serve.
Right.
Blake Moeller was under the net. Lauren
Contact.
Jardine felt just landed funny, and I was there and I saw it. It was
Layla
awful.
Blackwell, she just landed funny.
Right.
So
it's disappointing and disheartening. I know for them,
Right.
certainly for us, and we wish them the best. We wish them back to a speedy and healthy recovery, and hopefully they'll be in our league next year.
hot question leading from injuries. So the cash prize, right, for the winners is $1 million.
It is.
But is it still true that the power is in the players on how that is divided?
In light of all the injuries, right?
In light of all the injuries specifically.
So one of the asks from the players last year was they hated that decision. They hated, absolutely disliked having to decide who got what.
That pressure.
It was awful. And what we heard from the Omaha Supernovas from year 1 and from Orlando in year 2 was it took all the fun and the energy out of the win, because they had to make these what were very difficult decisions. But no, so what we did is at the players' request and at the team's request was create a championship earnings distribution plan.
Oh,
and
amazing. Can you tell us more about it?
I can tell you that it gives X amount of dollars to the players, and then a much smaller amount for coaching staffs.
Okay.
And the team that wins the $1 million has the ability to decipher, which coaches or what staff get rewarded. It's very specific in, if you're on the roster and you've done this many matches, then you get, this much of a distribution.
Okay.
So it's very specific, and it did take the power out of the players' hands, but they requested it. And the pressure.
And the pressure.
They requested it. So
what about injured reserve athletes?
They're still involved.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So it's more like not a tier, but kind of like, what if someone got injured in January for the season versus what if you got injured in May for the season?
So it's based on a certain number of games
that you played.
That's correct.
Okay.
Whether you played or not, you were active.
Okay. Makes sense.
Interesting. That's great.
And I believe it's extremely fair.
Yeah.
We've learned from each of the past 2 seasons. I'm sure we're going to learn again, and we might make tweaks to it based on how this whole thing plays out.
Mm-hmm.
But we're nascent, we're new, we're fledgling, we're growing, we're
evolving,
we're bobbing and weaving and tweaking and moving and doing all the right things to build the women's premier volleyball league in the United States of America.
Speaking of evolving, that makes me think of the whole loophole this year of getting players after March 30th. Because because that's been different, like in the year 1 and year 2, I feel like. Because March 30th, please correct me if I'm wrong, because you know way more than I do, but March 30th is a really early date to make a cutoff.
Well,
so how did players this year, how did teams get players post that March 30th date this year?
So in year 1, and this was again a player request.
Okay.
Players were, and if I recall, year 1 was Olympic year. Yeah.
It was.
And so players were home early from Europe. And unfortunately, you had a couple of players that got cut in the middle of April. They've played 3.5 months of a 4-month season, and they get cut on April 15th for a player that's coming back from Europe that may be better than they are.
Right.
Yeah.
And, that was kind of unfair. Again, we're learning, right?
Right.
We're learning.
It's all about evolving.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we made the trade rule. And I think it was last year, 25 was when we put it into play. And this year, again, learning and evolving, there was nothing in the rule book that said the player had to physically be in market.
Okay.
On the day that the roster was due.
Okay.
And that was the loophole.
So as long as they had signed a contract before that March 30th, that's how they were able to arrive, let's say April 10th.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, the league, as much as the league can't police when players actually arrive in market, right? That would be impossible for us to do. And so, we've got some interesting matchups tonight that we haven't seen yet due to that fact.
Yes.
Yes. Would you contribute the fluidity of how you guys are able to evolve and change to your success? Would you contribute that to your success?
You mean the league's success?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I certainly. I think the product sells itself.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. It's volleyball.
Period.
Women's volleyball is probably the only sport that supersedes the men's version. Period.
Bar
none. Drop the mic.
Absolutely.
I mean, it just does.
We're going.
A lot of statements.
Did Mason agree with that?
He did. He said, drop it.
They're so athletic and so intelligent, and they speak so well, and they're just fantastic to watch. I mean, I'm looking at you because you were there and you did it, and you were an amazing athlete and still are, I'm sure. But the product sells itself. And so I think our success is because of their success, because of how hard they compete night in and night out. I think it has a lot to do with all of our teams being so incredibly engaged in the production of their matches. And we put a lot of time and energy and effort into making sure that the product on the floor really screams onto the TV.
It does.
That's perfect.
And onto social media. They're all doing a great job promoting.
I agree.
Social media has been awesome.
Social media this year has really upgraded. Not that it was bad before, but this year is like, it makes me addicted to my Instagram. I'm just like, oh, this is so funny. This is so cool. This is so cool. So props to you guys for that.
Thank you. Our social media team is small but mighty. They went out and gotten some extra resources, particularly for this weekend, but also for the season. And they've really stepped it up.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I am so good with all the things that we've asked
too.
her already.
I really appreciate your time.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thanks. Nice to meet you finally.
Yeah.
Hopefully this is the last work item you have and you can enjoy the rest of the weekend from here.
Sure.
Darn it.
You know what? Let's not have anybody get injured. That's what I got.
That's what you got. Amen.
I want a happy and I want a healthy rest of this weekend. And may the chips fall where they may.
Yes.
Tomorrow night is going to be super fun with the MLV Awards ceremony.
Oh, that's another question. Yeah. Have you always announced the players of the year in their positions prior to the awards ceremony?
Yes. Yes, we have always done it that way. So, as you can imagine, Monday this past week in the volleyball ops team was really crazy. I think we were on the phone for 5 hours.
Yeah.
And I think, every time we came away with a decision, somebody would have another stat to pull and we get back
Like,
on the
oh,
call.
shoot,
And
here we go again.
I just listen. I really don't make those decisions, but the people that have forgotten more about volleyball than I'll ever know make those decisions. But yes, we've always announced all the players, with the exception of we hold the MVP of the league and we hold the coach of the year to Friday. And of course, Saturday afternoon, we'll have a championship player of the championships.
And who gets to decide that? Is it a board or a single person?
No, it's a group.
Okay.
It's a group.
Okay.
And
cool.
there's 3 of them. So there's always a tiebreaker.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
thank you.
We'll let you go enjoy the rest of the weekend. But
So happy for you. Enjoy the fruit of your labor.
Thank you.
Yes,
Appreciate
that's
it.
so well put.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm just excited.
Great to have you guys.
Let's get
Thank
this
you for
on.
having me.
Let's go. All right. Jen. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks.